How's it going, everyone? I am Jinsula, and welcome to today's Pokemon Go raid guide video. Alright, with the Global Hoenn Tour Event kicking off this weekend, we need to go over the most important aspect of it. I'm of course talking about the two Primal Raids featuring Primal Kyogre and Primal Groudon. I'm going to be going over the best counters and tips for both of these raids in this video, so let's roll the intro and get right into it. Okay, let's talk about Primal Kyogre and Primal Groudon. So, if you didn't attend the Las Vegas Hoenn Tour event, you are probably unaware of just how difficult these two raids can be. If you recall how difficult Mega Latios and Mega Latias raids were when they first released, Primal Kyogre and Primal Groudon are about equal when it comes to difficulty. However, if you can put together a large raid group and bring the right counters, you should have no problem taking them down. Primal Kyogre and Primal Groudon are going to be essential Pokemon for the foreseeable future. Alongside their signature moves, they are the absolute best Pokemon of their respective types, and there is likely never going to be a Pokemon that will be able to rival them. The process of transforming Kyogre or Groudon into their primal form is called primal reversion, and it operates very similar to Mega Evolutions. The number of primal raids you will need to complete in order to primal revert either Kyogre or Groudon is around 5 each. You gain approximately 80 to 90 primal energy per raid, and it takes 400 energy in order to primal revert them for the first time. Each of them have their own primal energy resource, so you will need to raid both of them if you want to primal revert each of them. Like, you can't use Kyogre primal energy to primal revert a Groudon, and vice versa. Just like Mega Evolution raids, you will also get an encounter with their non-primal forms at the end of the battle. Both Kyogre and Groudon will be level 20, or level 25 if it is weather boosted when you encounter them, which is exactly how it would be if you were to raid them through regular 5-star raids. However, their primal forms are extremely difficult compared to their regular forms, and Primal Groudon does gain a new type when it is in its primal form. Let's first talk about Primal Kyogre. This boss is an amped up version of its regular form. For the most part, it will have the same weaknesses and resistances that you would expect in its non-primal state. Primal Kyogre is going to be weak against grass and electric type attacks. It is going to resist steel, fire, water, and ice type attacks. If you are looking for the perfect IVs, you will want one that is 2351 or 2939 if it is weather boosted. Just like its non-primal form, Primal Kyogre is going to be weather boosted by only rainy weather. Okay, now let's talk about how you can beat this extremely difficult boss. Between the two primals, it is actually Primal Kyogre that is going to be a lot harder. You should try to go with a full lobby of 20 trainers, even if you are max trainer level. This is because Primal Kyogre has an insane amount of health and a lot of defense. Like Mega Latios and Mega Latias raids, this is going to be an intense DPS race, so be sure to bring your absolute best counters and expect to do 1 or 2 raid lobbies if you don't have a full group. Speaking of counters, Primal Kyogre is going to be most vulnerable to Mega Sceptile, Mega Manectric, Kartana, Shadow Raikou, Xurkitree, and Zarude. Depending on what your raid squad is using in terms of Mega Evolutions, and also what charge attack Primal Kyogre is going with, you should go with either a full Grass type team or a full Electric type team. Mega Sceptile with a full team of Kartanas, for example, would be phenomenal against a Primal Kyogre with Thunder, Surf, Hydro Cannon, or Origin Pulse. Likewise, a full team of Electric types like Shadow Raikou and Xurkitree would be great against Primal Kyogre with Blizzard. Make sure you are running at least one Mega Evolution in order to maximize your group's damage output. If you are raiding both Primal Kyogre and Primal Groudon, then you should use a Mega for going against Primal Kyogre instead of Primal Groudon. Since Primal Groudon raids are much easier, they may not necessarily require a Mega Evolution. Now, if you are lacking in any Legendaries or Ultra Beasts, you can go with any of these budget-friendly counters. These include Tangrowth, Electivire, and Magnezone. You should still try to use at least one Grass type or Electric type Mega Evolution, as it is going to help you ensure the win. Okay, next, let's go over Primal Groudon. This Pokemon is originally a pure ground type in its non-primal form, but it gains the fire type when you primal revert it. Thus, the primal raid version of this boss is going to be very different compared to its 5-star raid version. Unlike Primal Kyogre, Primal Groudon actually has a double weakness to a particular type, which is water. It is also weak against ground types, but you're going to unleash way more damage with water type attacks, so focus on those. It is also going to be resistant to electric, bug, fairy, fire, poison, and steel type attacks, so avoid bringing any Pokemon that heavily relies on those. Primal Groudon would counter those anyway. The perfect IV values are going to be exactly the same as Kyogre. The magic number you should be looking for is 2351, and 2939 if it is weather boosted. Primal Groudon is only going to be weather boosted by sunny or clear weather. Even though it gains a new type, its weather boost stays relatively the same. Now, like I mentioned earlier, Primal Groudon is going to be significantly easier than Primal Kyogre, but it is still going to be tough. Instead of a full lobby, you can secure a victory over Primal Groudon with a raid group consisting of 15 trainers. But if you want to go with the least number of trainers as possible, I would go with about 7 to 9 trainers who are at least level 50. Next up, let's talk about what the best counters are for Primal Groudon raids. These will include Primal Kyogre, Mega Swampert, Shadow Swampert, Shadow Gyarados, regular Kyogres, and Shadow Feraligatr. Basically, all you will want to do is top load your team with all water types. Make sure you are fully utilizing that double weakness to water, as it will help you easily take down this boss. If you are looking for a more budget-friendly option, you should still stick to water types. Gyarados, Swampert, Feraligatr, and Kingler are great water-type raid attackers that are not rare and won't break the bank. Primal Groudon is going to be much more straightforward compared to Primal Kyogre. While Primal Kyogre raids demand you bring certain types depending on the situation, you can just bring a full team of water-type attackers to Primal Groudon raids, no matter what move it has. The only charge attack that Groudon has that could be a threat to your water types is of course Solar Beam. However, it is incredibly easy to dodge, and it is strong against ground types as well, so it ultimately doesn't matter. Overall, both of these raids are something you should definitely prepare for. They are some of the most difficult raid encounters we will ever see, but they are still doable as long as you bring the right counters and the right amount of trainers. We also don't know if they will ever return to raids in the near future, so I would prioritize them as much as you can during the Global Hoenn Tour Event. Try to stock up on as much Primal Energy for each of them so that you can Primal Revert anytime you want. Both Primal Kyogre and Primal Groudon are the absolute best of the best of their types, especially with their signature moves. Therefore, you will not want to miss out on obtaining either of them while you can. Also, don't forget that both of them can be shiny, so even if you maxed out on Primal Energy, you should still raid them with your friends in order to pick up more of their shinies. Who knows, if you're lucky enough, you might even pick up a Shundo. Since their primal forms are now a part of the game, Shiny Kyogre and Shiny Groudon are going to be even more valuable than they used to be. Thus, if you want yourself some great trade bait, then these are shinies you should target. Anyways, that's going to be it for this video. Leave your thoughts down below regarding both Primal Kyogre and Primal Groudon. Do you have a really good one of either of them? Say so in the comments, and let's have a great discussion. And if you ended up enjoying this video, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe if it's your first time here, and don't forget that little bell so you can stay up to date on whenever I upload videos. And I want to give a quick shout out to my patrons on Patreon. You make this channel content possible. If you want to support my channel in any way, big or small, then be sure to check out the links in the description below. For all my patrons, they get a permanent spot on my in-game friends list. So if you want to interact with me in some way, like with remote raids, then do consider becoming a patron on my Patreon. But yeah, that's going to be it. I'm Jinsula. Be safe, have fun, love yourself, and I'll catch you all later.